Hi there, this is Professor Innes again, and you are now on Module 3 of your Introduction course to Philosophy, Philosophy 102, the classics of Western philosophy. So, you're going through the different philosophers very nicely. We're trying to do it within particular branches, so it has particular use, and particularly with our branch at the moment is ethics, and we understand ethics as being the study of the different notions of the good. We're not going to prescribe afterwards. We're looking at them to see if they work. Do they function? Do they purport to be what they are? Namely, setting up a moral set of principles for a human being to follow. And if they do follow them, what are the results? Again, are they successful? So that's what we're doing here, and we do look at different notions, so different words and different notions, and examine them as well, such as what is pleasure, what is happiness, definitely so. But we'll also look at the overall theory itself. As philosophers, and as you are a philosopher on this course, you're looking at the different ethical arguments, or moral arguments I should say, the different moral arguments, and seeing if they do in fact work. Do they accomplish what they set out to accomplish? So Epicurus, he's the one we're doing at the moment, and after Aristotle, this one might be seen pretty straightforward, except for one thing. Be careful to notice that Epicurus is aiming towards pleasure, the gaining of pleasure. Therefore, all acts should aim towards gaining pleasure. I have a feeling that we have given up on happiness here, according to Epicurus, because happiness is so elusive, and we never really described what it was, if we ever could describe what is happiness. Happiness is a very, very difficult word to define. Some people even say happiness is pleasure. So, if it's pleasure, then why don't we just call it pleasure and be done with? Right, so within this way of thinking, pleasure is something more attainable. We relate to it as human beings. We're not as sophisticated as Aristotle would think, and I don't know if we're actually capable of happiness, but this pleasure, I can get this right now. I can go get some ice cream and get some pleasure from ice cream. But at the same time, we have to act within moderation, therefore have the happy medium between excessive amounts of ice cream and too little ice cream. It is to arrive at pleasure, but it's just the pleasure we're aiming towards. So keep this in mind for later on, because this understanding of Epicurus and his notion of pleasure will inform you upon how to think about Bentham. Bentham will come along in 2 modules' time, and he talks about utilitarianism, which is the greatest good for the greater number of people. Namely, we give as much pleasure as we can to as many people as we can. It's very democratic in that sense, and it does not have a high understanding of human beings. We human beings, according to Bentham, just want to achieve pleasure. With Epicurus, I think he has a higher view of us than Bentham, but nonetheless, we are just attaining pleasure. So keep that in mind, please. So remember the medium between excessiveness and deficiency. And here, remember the different situations which could make you not gain pleasure out of life, such as fearing the gods. If we fear the gods, we're not going to gain pleasure. We're going to be in the state of pain. Suffering, worrying about the gods getting you after you die is painful for you. So Epicurus puts forward a prescription here for how we should avoid fearing the gods. So read that through and talk about that one, please. And also our enemies. This might even be a useful one. I don't know. It's whereby you make friends of your enemies, because your enemies are the ones who are going to make you suffer pain. So make them your friends, functional friends. They're not real friends, by all means, but It's far better to have them in that state whereby you get along with them than having them making your life a misery. So we have these functional friends, and I think that's part of our culture at the moment. If you've watched The Godfather, I think it's Godfather 2, when Michael says here, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So you make them sort of your friends. So with the aim of therefore them not causing you pain and suffering. So Epicurus is prescribing that overall lifestyle of living well, similar to that of Aristotle, obviously not the same, in fact very, very different, but the aspect of the holistic viewpoint is the same, and the aspect of having all acts leading towards that given goal, which here is pleasure. With Aristotle it was happiness. Is very, very much the same as well. Right, so I think that will do for this one. And please, make sure you read the comments in the homework sections I write. There are comments for you and your particular piece of work. If you're doing perfectly well, I'll probably just say you're doing perfectly well and why you're doing well. Definitely in the first few weeks, and if you need to make a few changes, I will indicate that you need to make a few changes. But please look at these comments. Right, okay, thank you for watching this video. They are supposed to be useful for you and help you to do the reading and also be successful in the module itself. Okay, let me know if you need anything. I'll be here, and enjoy this particular module on Epicurus. Thank you. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.